in this thing.
We're gonna get cozy. Yeah. Okay?
God, it's always the same people.
It is. Do you have enough room?
Hi, how you doing? Good. All right, we're on to the water issue again. Does that surprise you, Nancy? I am. I work hard whatever clothes I put on. The dog eats my socks, whatever. Oh, they're really bad. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for showing up, and especially the media, thank you for showing up and passing along information that's very critical, actually, to the success of this effort. A number of the people who are playing large and prominent roles in this effort are with me here today. And as when we get to the end of the initial remarks, I want to introduce them. And then I'd like Donna to show you a video that I think is very compelling. And then we'll open it up to questions and go from there. So let's start the news today with positive news, and most all the news is positive. Yesterday I said we were the descendants of pioneers and that we were tough enough to overcome this crisis, and today you, the public, have proved me right. Because of the tremendous effort made by the residents and businesses of the community, water production came very close to meeting our water consumption. We've reduced our normal rate of consumption by about 3 million gallons yesterday. This is tremendous progress. We continue to evaluate the need for restrictions on a daily basis with the goal of lifting them as soon as sufficient repairs are made to adequately increase production. The examples of residents and businesses finding creative solutions to conserving water has been inspiring. I ate at Laszlo's last night with my wife, and I had a wonderful meal on paper plates. And Judy was so impressed by it all that she suggested we spend more money, and we just had to have this big chocolate dessert, which I did for civic purposes, of course. But many other restaurants did the same thing. Lincoln Public School students, another example, ate with disposable dinnerware as well and helped to get information to their parents at home about the entire problem. Zipline decided to suspend production of one of their craft beers. That came to me by way of an aide whose name I won't mention, but it happened. Our businesses and residents across the board are going the extra mile to save gallons of water. We are witnessing a city that's pulling together and getting the job done, and thank you to everyone for the sacrifices you're making for our community. As our signs about town now remind us, every drop counts. Our wells get their electricity from the Omaha Public Power District. They're working hard to restore power to the island in the Platte River, where 3 of our large horizontal wells are located, currently not operating. Efforts to restore power to the north well field are also proceeding. At the same time, we are working to assess whether infrastructure is intact and we can begin additional production. We are hopeful that these issues can be resolved soon, but there are no guarantees. Many of our well units are still inaccessible, making most evaluation and repair impossible until the flood recedes further. So there are still challenges in front of us. We must do everything possible to continue to conserve our water supply, and towards that end, I want to ask for your help, public help, in a couple of specific areas. As part of our contingency declaration, commercial car washes are closed. I want to take a moment and specifically thank the owners and the staff of these businesses. My office spoke with many of them yesterday, and they were all resolved to do their duty and help us save water. So if you know a car wash employee, please thank them, or an owner. They aren't working right now. They're making a huge sacrifice. The fact that people aren't working in order to help us conserve water makes it all the more imperative that we honor the situation by not washing cars. We had many reports yesterday of people washing cars at coin-operated car washes. Now is not the time to wash your car. Let's instead patronize these business partners when restrictions are lifted to show them appreciation for everyone's sacrifice. We also need your help to ensure that your friends, your neighbors, and your colleagues are aware of the water restrictions and observing them. It is a huge strain on law enforcement to ask them to answer water restriction violation calls. It is much better if we can handle this the Lincoln way, calmly and nicely, asking each other to pitch in and help out. In those circumstances where citizens don't feel comfortable asking others to observe water restrictions, or their reminder is blatantly ignored, it's possible to call the police non-emergency number. Finally, I want the community to be aware that we are limiting some construction in the city right-of-way. The right-of-way is generally the public spaces owned by the city, such as the green space between the sidewalk and the street. The right-of-way is the space where water lines are often located. We simply cannot afford to risk breaking a large water main that would waste large quantities of water. This decision may impact some construction projects, both public and private. Let me tell you that I have been, again, very impressed by the operating management system that has been put in place. We are in good hands with the Lincoln-Lancaster County Emergency Management Team and the city agencies that power it, including Lincoln Transportation and Utilities, Lincoln Fire and Rescue, Lincoln Police Department, Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department. They are leading what we call the Unified Command to develop contingency strategies for restoring water production, repairing our assets, and preparing for any other potential conditions to which we may be asked to respond. They are meeting 3 times a day to monitor the situation and to make sure the city has all the resources that can be had from state and federal resources. As a part of a large list of contingency plans, the city made a request to NEMA, the Nebraska Emergency Management Agency, for bottled water to support our community. However, with our conservation efforts, it's highly unlikely that we will need it. Once our situation is resolved, we would then donate the bottled water to other parts of our state that have been more adversely affected by flooding. Lastly, I want to restate and state again that our drinking water is safe. The concern is about quantity, not quality. Again, I want to thank all those involved in our community who are working to conserve water and those who are working 24/7 to restore water production as quickly as possible. And with that, starting at the far end, I would like each individual here to identify themselves and the agencies they're with. And yeah, if you want to say something more effusive, you're welcome to do that too.
Captain Ryan Dale, Lincoln Police Department.
Michael Despain, Lincoln Fire and Rescue.
Scott Holmes, I am representing the Health Department on the Incident Command Team.
I'm Donna Garden. I'm the Assistant Director of Utilities.
I'm Mickey Esposito, Director of Transportation and Utilities.
And Jeff Blymeister with the Lincoln Police Department.
All amazing people, I assure you. All right, with that, I'm going to ask Donna Garden to show a video. You all can
Close to the podium. We'll just
sit
have it
down.
over here so you
Yeah, can we hold on for that just a moment?
Hold on for the video.
I'm going to narrate it a little bit here so everybody knows what they're seeing.
Well, I expected you to. She's a good narrator. All right, so we're ready to go. I wanted to say quickly, if you don't believe a flood is a disaster, watch closely here as this wave, this live wave, eats ground and knocks over telephone poles and crumbles cement. It's a powerful.
It is. Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to just give a little narration here of what you're seeing and what you're looking at in this video. Each one of our wells in our well field has a camera. Not all of them, obviously, once they were inundated with the floodwaters, are working at this time, but this is the beginning. I want you to take this a little bit stop. Can you stop this, Jamie? Nope? Okay. This is moving forward. This is Thomas Lakes over here. We have a Lake Allure in the background. You see water flowing across the frame that way. Watch the frame over there. You'll see the first of the power poles go in as the ground gets eaten up. Those two flashes were electricity that were coming out that were being arced from the water. I think this does pan a little bit at some point, but you see it continues to eat away at the ground as it comes over that road that we talked about between Thomas Lakes and Lake Allure. And this is continuing on. I want to mention that the actual first telephone pole fell at 10:30 on Sunday morning, March 17th. It has time dated at the corner up there, so we know when that happened. And this whole process that you're seeing here, this is speeded up about 30 times. This is about an hour's worth of, I think an hour and a half worth of footage. The beginning of the footage starts at 9:30. I think the end of it, in this part, it ends at about almost 11 o'clock. So it's very, very vivid what was going on in our North Well field. This is what happened that brought on some of the mandatory restrictions that we have now, or started it, I should say.
Yeah, remember we said that Omaha Public Power District supplies the electricity out there. Did you see all those flashes of arcing electricity? That's part of the reason why they don't like to get their workers out there in that atmosphere. It's dangerous. And that's part of the reason why we have to wait until the waters go down. So, sorry, Donna.
No, that's fine, that's fine. And I'll take any questions.
Can you give us what was the actual usage for the period you're saying that we reduced by 3 million gallons? What was the actual usage and what was your actual production?
I don't have those numbers. I can give you an average day for that period of time, but it varies over the day, as you know, so I can give you an average 24-hour period.
That's fine.
24-hour period, we were, I think, prior to the restrictions, somewhere around 30 million gallons. We were down to approximately 27, I think it was more than that. We were up higher than that. 27, 28, 27 and a half, I guess. No, because we were down 3 million. I have to get the numbers, Nancy. I'm not gonna quote them. We can't.
Okay. And then what was your production during that period?
Production during that period, we were 30,
Right, we were producing 32.
approximately 32, yeah.
Okay, so you're still.
Yeah, we're still there.
producing approximately
32, correct.
So the usage is below your production right now. You're not having to go into the reserves.
We are not right now. We're holding, but we are actually, we have to have a certain amount of pumpage because we obviously have that big swing in the morning and the big swing at night. So that we have to be careful of that. Because we get up to the 40s, 45s during that time period.
I have a silly question, but one of the rules that these buildings that have automatic toilets.
We're actually asking them to try to unattach those automatic flushers.
Really? Okay.
We actually have a question of that on our Qs and As for businesses right now that we're putting together.
Because you have some up here, you know,
Ah.
third floor only.
Other questions?
Car washes, the coin operated, can the owners turn off the coin operated? I mean, will those still be on so people can go cheat?
Since the beginning of the since the beginning of the declaration by the mayor's office, Nancy, our geographic teams have been proactively going out, one, attempting to identify and contact the owners of the coin-operated machines. And we've received some complaints too, both through dispatch and through social media. And they're taking some solutions as far as some of them can't just close the garage door and prevent access, but either by turning off the water supply itself or removing the devices that are used, the power washers. That's steps that they are taking. And everybody, every business that we have been in contact with has been very receptive. And just to the mayor's point, the sacrifices that they're making as business owners and as individuals themselves. So.
All right, you good to go? Again, thank you for coming out. The public really needs your information. Thank you.
As far, do they have access to the video?
We will